Would you like to learn how to make a whirligig like this? Stay tuned. If you've ever tried making a whirligig, you may have gotten frustrated because it didn't work. We'll go over the reasons for this in this video. The biggest problem is getting the whirligig to start in low wind conditions. Why? Maybe there's not enough vanes, or the angle's wrong, too much weight in the vanes, or an unbalanced wind vane. And finally, we'll look at too much friction. We'll address each of these issues. How many vanes make sense? Is it 2, 3, 4? I've found that 6 vanes works the best. Literature suggests that the best angle is between 10 and 15 degrees. I found 10 degrees work better. To reduce the friction that restricts spinning, I used a metal shaft with good ball bearings. Here are some examples of 10 millimeter bearings and shafts from a big box store. To reduce the mass that you have to spin, I made the vanes out of redwood, a low-density wood. Using a bandsaw or a scroll saw, cut out the vanes from a piece of wood about 1 inch thick. Set up your bandsaw so you can resaw the redwood block to less than 1/8 inch thick for each of the 6 vanes. I cut a round hub about 2.5 inches in diameter, and then I resawed it to about 3/8 inch thick. With a protractor, draw a line 60 degrees apart on the hub. Using the 10-degree jig and the lines marked on the hub, with your bandsaw, cut slots into the side of the hub. Move the jig slightly to the left against your fence and cut another slot to make it wide enough for the vanes. Check that the vanes fit properly around the hub. Cut the base and supports. Glue and screw the side supports into the base. I used a 1/4 inch drill bit to drill holes through both supports for the axle. For the bearings, I drilled slightly inset holes around 3/8 inch in diameter. I added a block of wood between the 2 supports to keep them aligned and strengthen them. Insert a 1/4 inch dowel about 3/8 of an inch long into the hub to act as a spacer. Add the blades to the hub 2 at a time to carefully check for balance. As you add the blades in groups of 2, make sure that the hub remains balanced. You may need to sand down individual blades to get the balance you need. Cut out the pattern you're going to use for your whirligig. I'm showing a horse pattern here, and I originally showed a hummingbird one in the overview. Add the structures you need to hold up the figure you're going to animate. After assembling the item you plan to animate, find its center of mass by balancing it on something like this bar. Mount your creature carefully using the center of mass you found earlier. I used a piece of copper wire to build my camshaft. Make sure you balance it perfectly so there's equal amounts above and below the center of the line. Depending on what you're trying to animate, you may choose a square camshaft or a curved camshaft. Now you're ready to wire the camshaft to your figure. I used a craft wire 24 gauge wrapped around the camshaft and around a peg through the figure. I used glue on the camshaft as stops to keep the wire in the proper position. And that's it. Enjoy your whirligig.